If the president signs the public service pension bill, it will mean that each public servant will have to part with 5% of their monthly salary to that public service pension scheme that will be created by this bill. I don't know what you think, but you let us know in that very regard. 2, as you know, the weather is really too bad lately. Temperatures going to 39, 37, 33. It's so in Uganda. So a statement came from the minister on what is causing this and what steps they are taking to ensure that the mitigation measures are brought forth. Similarly, another MP, Honorable Oma Linda Agnes, said that projections have shown that there could be drought in Uganda this year and was asking the Prime Minister, what steps is the government going to do to ensure that this drought does not affect people? The Prime Minister responded saying, and as you can see on the screen, that President Museveni has already directed the Prime Minister, the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Water, to ensure that they are able to have a policy design where irrigation can happen as facilitated by the government to ensure we can have year in and year out production of food. So we look forward to that. The next thing is very important because it concerns the country's future. There's a committee of parliament called the National Economy, which is in charge of borrowing. What does this committee do? Whenever government says we want to borrow, they lay that on the floor of parliament. When they do that, that very proposal goes to that very committee on the national economy. What does this mean? It means, and this is very, very important, that these people can either reject a loan or accept it. This week they are processing 2 loans, but they had a lot of subsections. I'll start with the loan which was seeking to guarantee the Uganda Development Bank and also to capitalize that very bank. If you watched Parliament, you could have noticed that they rejected the 150 million USD borrowing request and considered the 25 million which was coming from APEC, citing so many inconsistencies with how the Minister of Finance had appeared before them and not providing enough information for them to make a calculated decision. Loan 2 that they were looking at, and I think we looked at this in the other videos, which was the loan which was seeking to buy out Umeme. Oh my goodness. You don't know what happened. Let me tell you what happened, right? The Minister of Finance appears to the National Committee and tells them that, look here, if you do not give us money, buy. This is 697.8 billion, 190, close to 191 million US dollars. They say, you don't give us that money, Ugandans will start paying 10% on that money which is supposed to be borrowed. Okay, so many questions there. Have they borrowed it already or they are working backwards? They get the loan and then they ask for approval later. So many questions in there because why are we paying interest in a loan we have not acquired? Okay, maybe there could be some gymnastics around how late we are, right? They further say, in the event that we exceed 46 to 90 days, yeah, that's a range, then that interest will go to 15%. My goodness, this is quite a lot. And some MPs were saying, we know we're in the last month of the transfer of assets between Umeme and UATCL. Why? Why are we this ready? In quotes, like, why are we this ready? So that was the fundamental question that was coming ahead. Again, follow all this information on Parliament Watch. Watch UG on X, Parliament Watch on Facebook, www.parliamentwatch.or.ug. And this is very vital. Now, let me come to the last updates. You know the Human Assisted Reproductive Technology Bill which had come to Parliament on March the 5th by Honorable Sarah Opendi? Yes, they had spent over 11 months and 9 days trying to process that bill, and government comes at the end of the second reading when all MPs have signed the committee report and says, we have a few things to add. So they have requested for 2 extra weeks to see how they can harmonize their specific positions. Of course, MPs were not happy. Next, the people of Kasese, you have a very good MP, the Honorable Atkins Katsabe, who was quite explicit saying that there is a huge compensation problem that is coming with the government of Uganda. He says from 1996 when ADF attacked Kasese and killed so many people and murdered in cold blood 10 LC1s, he says that the government needs to look at all compensation issues of people in Teso or people in other areas. He was so explicit about that, as you can see on the tweet. And I think the people of Kasese have in that leader a very, very, very firm voice. I'm not campaigning for them, I'm just saying he did well. Now, and this is second last, it was noted that the legal opinion which had come in January from the Attorney General, which was saying that several UNRWA former employees which were affected by rationalization should not receive compensation, that those employees have gone to court. And the Speaker says that this process is messy and that the government, through the Minister of Public Service, on Tuesday, this very week, because this video is on Monday, so that's Tuesday, it will mean that they are bringing a report to show an institution by institution update on the people who have lost their jobs, on people who have been compensated, on people who have not been compensated, and the process of absorption of these people into mainstream ministries. Lastly, and this really covered quite a lot of ground as Parliament was starting, the Leader of Opposition says that they are concerned about what the Joint Anti-Terrorism Task Force is doing in the Kawempe by-election. They say that there is a journalist who lost their eye and their face bones were shattered by that very force. They're asking, what is an anti-terrorism force doing? He says government should do something about it. Miracle Ibra, you know him from Top Television, who was butchered. And the Speaker was quite angry about that and directed government to make sure they can account for what is exactly happening in that regard. We shall return the other week to give you an update about what happens in Parliament. Follow us on all our social media platforms. That is on X at PWatchUG. That's on Facebook. That's on TikTok at Sepa Uganda. Thank you.